call me Bucky, niggas lucky that I'm innocent. If I didn't have no morals, I'd be menacing. How a nigga rapping conscious but he ignorant? How he from the hood but still gon' go legitimate? How he fuck a bunch of bitches but they still respect the women? He still rolling in Sonata, he just got the windows tinted. Homie stab me in the back and that can never be forgiven. And my palms been itching, man, I like the superstition. You can't have my phone number unless we running up the digits. Let me meditate, I just need a couple minutes. Tryna low ball me, my cojones to the big ass. Bitch, I get high. I ain't looking at the clock, still ballin' like Brian. Yeah, I'm headed to the Bucks, then I'm ballin' like yeah. I ain't looking at the clock, still ballin' like Brian. Bitch, I get, bitch, I get, bitch, I get. Let me meditate, then I celebrate. Tryna get the cake, I don't take a break. Yeah, bitch, wait. Grew up in the 90s, we was watching Ricky Lake. We was eating top ramen or a TV dinner plate. Made a couple dollars, so I probably get the steak. Go on out at John and Venice, I told Quinn and I'll be late. Ay, I'm so epidemic, I'ma cause an epidemic. Put my feet up in the building, bitch, I'm feeling like a bitch, I get high. I ain't looking at the clock, still ballin' like Brian. Yeah, I'm headed to the Bucks, then I'm ballin' like.
That's killed it.
You made the decision to play Thiago. Klopp doesn't change the system. Since move back left, you don't want to change from the 4-3.
Yes, people. We won a game. We actually won a game. Like, I'm actually coming on here to talk about Liverpool winning a game of football. And yeah, man, good performance, guys. We are here for the Wolves Liverpool post-match review. The guys are going to be joining me in a sec, so don't you guys worry. But first and foremost, please, guys, you already know the deal, man. You already know. I don't want Jerry to come in, start chatting shit. You know, this wrong going to come in here and start talking nonsense, and he's going to play that intermission if you guys don't smash that like button. And if you haven't subscribed already, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. So, we won a game. Like, I don't even know where to begin, man. I don't even know where to begin. We actually won a game. Big up everybody inside already. Big up Baz. Look, coming in. You know, this is the kind of attitude, man. Attitude was better tonight. Legs in the middle and Elliot in his correct position. And that's what you'll get when you play players in their right position. It's just, you know, it's all we've been asking for, people. It is all we've been asking for. The gaffer has already told you guys, smash that like button. Big up Mark A. B team got patterns of play. What did I say, man? What did I say before the game, man? Like, we needed some changes in the squad. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Jay, not sure how to feel after a win. Been a rare feeling to see. Bro, I feel the same. You know, when you're watching the game and you're kind of like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, we won a game. Fair enough. You know, fair enough kind of thing. Like, it was a bit of a weird one, man. Bit of a weird one. Big up Angel 1968. Baditic, man of the match. Gomez, Milner done well. I know you guys saw that turn from Nuri, but yeah, nah, they did well. Elliot done well, 100%. Naby played well. Salah, didn't really notice him. Doak was aggressive. Yeah, man. Like, I think tonight showed, you know, showed a little bit. It showed, you know, there was definitely some good points to take from tonight's game. Big up Ilyas inside, Bajcetic on fire. Just before that, don't ever start Fabinho again. Big up Scraps inside, Bajcetic. I knew it. I knew the second he came off that field. I already said, guys, we're gonna see the Bajcetic prop online. It's gonna be crazy. I know how you Liverpool fans stay. I know how you guys are. Big up Anfield Road. Big up the man them. Of course, man, love all the damn time. I am Jono. Bajcetic bossed it. Sometimes when you make changes, man, do you know what I mean? Sometimes when you make some of these changes in game, in these kind of games, I think, like I said before the game, it's just a different reaction. Do you know what I mean? You've been playing the same players over and over again. They've been failing, and we're not seeing anything different. So of course, when you change it up a bit, and like I said, this is a throwaway game, so you can do changes like this. What happened? The team obviously played a lot better. Well, they played a lot better than they did against Brighton. Let's put it that way. And I guess, sometimes you got to start from somewhere. We got KZ for days. Badiset should be starting 3 months ago. We've got nothing to lose. Maybe so. Big up Oscar. Big up your damn self. Scraps. I'm going to touch on this. Maybe when the guys get into the show. I do not like Gakpo's movement off the ball, because that's something that I noticed as well. So you ain't the only one. His kind of performance was a little bit weird. It was a little bit weird. But look, as I said, the gaffer's inside. The boss.
Man said the
boss.
Big
kahuna. The big kahuna's inside. What are you telling me, Jay, man? You good?
What's going on, man? What's going on? Guess what, people? Look what I'm wearing.
Tonight we got on Liverpool tops, Hey,
it's crazy. Big up to everyone in the building. Make sure we're smashing the like as always. Big up to everyone in the building. So King Cop, Jay, Oscar, Scraps, KZ for days, Anfield Road, and big up to your damn selves. How are we feeling, man? Liverpool won.
Yeah, bro. I can't remember who said it. I think it was Jay who said it before. Like, it feels weird. Like, Liverpool win a game, you're just like, all right, cool.
Weren't this my prediction? What
did you say before the game?
A victory, of course. After 2-1 Liverpool.
I'll allow you still. We didn't even concede. I think that was probably the most shocking thing about tonight was the fact that we didn't concede. But obviously we'll delve into that in a sec anyway.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
No, I was going to ask, obviously we know, I already know our fans stay, Bajcetic, obviously him being I think they gave it to Harvey Elliott, to be fair, on BBC, they gave it to Harvey Elliott.
He was good today.
He definitely was. And obviously Bajcetic, as usual, how Liverpool fans are, when we get a guy who puts in a good performance, it's like, he has to start, he's got to be the guy. And obviously one of the questions, before we delve into everything deeply, one of the questions that I'm seeing people ask is, would you start Bajcetic against Chelsea on the weekend?
I would.
Cool.
We've played a Wolves team that are, what are they, 10th in the league, 11th in the league, if I'm correct?
No, I think they're lower than that. I thought they're like...
Right? No, but they're lower than that, right?
Yeah.
But we got battered by Brighton, who are in and around us. Look, and I've said it before with these young players, right? You don't know how good they are until they only get that good when they become that good.
Yeah.
The same way with the managers. So we don't know how good Bajcetic is, how good Elliot is. Well, we kind of know because he's had game time, but we don't know how good Bajcetic is unless he gets a run of games. We don't know how good Jones is, Carvalho is, unless they get a run of games. And we've spoken about, on the channel, about, the situation Liverpool are in, the fact that we're trying to win now, but we're also buying players to develop in the future. Like, they're not ready. We're caught in between trying to be like a Man United in 2012 when they signed Van Persie, and an Arsenal under Arteta. So for me, it's, you play the damn players now. We've got nothing to lose. The league is done. It doesn't matter about the Champions League. I'm not going to lie to you, people. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter. Whatever happens now this season, come on, let's be realistic. Look, a miracle could happen, but Champions League's done as well. Even if we get past Real Madrid, we're just going to get beaten by the next team because injuries are going to hit us again. Our team isn't good enough. So you play the damn player. And you know what? You play all these youngsters, the likes of Jones, the likes of Bajcetic, the likes of Doak. If they're not good enough, you move them on. And that's what it is. And then you know whether these young players are good enough or not, because we thought Bajcetic was good enough. We could see it. Can you go and do it on a consistent basis? That's the step now. When you're playing academy football, that's the step. You weren't going to get that step before at Liverpool because we're challenging for the major honours, which makes sense. Now we're not challenging for the major honours. And I've said it before. People know my problems with with Elliot, the fact that I don't really necessarily rate him as much as some people do.
Mhm.
The best option we've got, he's been our best midfielder this season, even with his poor form. He's been better than Thiago. Play the damn claim. Play him.
Mhm.
Play him, play Bajcetic.
Play him, but I think play him. The problem he's got is we saw him today not in centre midfielder. That was the key.
That's the $1 million question. For me, I'm looking at Salah, and for me, you got a whole bench for a bit. You got a bench for a bit. If Klopp had any cojones, what he'd do today is be like, you know what, this team's running it back the same way. Like when a manager comes in, like, imagine we got a caretaker, he'd come in and just make wholesale changes. Like Allardyce used to do that, and it'll be random players that weren't playing. It might have been like Chris Brunt that weren't getting a game when what's his name? What's the manager called? Slaven Bilic. When Slaven Bilic was there, weren't getting a game, right? Weren't getting a game because he was going with Grady Diangana. Big up Grady as well, because from the ends. Big up Grady, going with Grady Diangana, a couple of people like that. What did he do? Allardyce came in. Chris Brunt, you're back in the side. What it does, it gives these players confidence. So what Klopp needs to do is that message that he's telling these first teamers is not getting to them. It's going to get to Bajcetic. It's going to get to Carvalho. Big up to Carvalho as well. Great performance today. Great performance. Look, I know the wing isn't his position, but he can go and play like that. And if he plays like that, we will know at the end of the season whether he's good enough or not. And then we can make a decision on, do we loan him out? Do we sell him? Do we do all of that type of stuff? Do you know what I mean? Let Gakpo just play himself into form, whether he's good or not. Because at the end of the day, Liverpool are going to have to make a decision with these forwards anyway. One of these forwards is going.
Yeah.
One, if not two of these forwards for me are gone. Because you're not going to have a scenario. What you want a standout like mainstay on the left or on the right? On both sides. So we've got that in Salah. You don't want to chop in and change in on the left side, because then what you get is a situation that Chelsea are in, where they don't know who starts. They're like, who's their best forward, man? Is it Pulisic? Is it Mount on the left? Is it Sterling? But he's not performing well. We need to have what we had before, which is consistency. Cool. Do you know what I mean? So is it Diaz? Is it Gakpo? Is it Nunes? Right now, I don't even care. I'm not trying to even talk about who the options are, but one of them is going to go for me. So you play the damn brother because he's available. See if he's good enough. At the worst, you're going to be able to sell him for like 30 million. Do the same thing we've done with Ben Case. Same thing we've done with a couple of players. I think that's what Klopp's got to do right now. And if he had any kind of heart, he would be like, you know what? I'm going to make a statement here, and we'll go with that same team again. And if he goes with that same team again, I'm telling you, he'll get a tune out of them, because Arteta did the same thing. I remember when he dropped Lacazette, when he dropped Aubameyang, and he ran with all these young players. Ljungberg did the same thing, and he got a tune out of some of these young players like Emil Smith-Rowe. We saw the emergence of Emil Smith-Rowe. We didn't know whether Emil Smith-Rowe was good enough or not until we got game time. Give him the game time.
Very true. Yeah, I think I agree, man, with what you're saying, man. I think one thing from, obviously, again, everyone's going to talk about the midfield and this, that, and the other. For me, that in that first half anyway, second half, as always, we just keep tailoring off, man. But it is what it is. We'll get into that. What impressed me the most was the attack for me was better than the midfield. So the reason why I say that is because in that first half, it's like I keep saying for the last few weeks, we keep getting onto the midfield this, midfield that, blah, blah. And rightly so, of course, the midfield isn't pulling their weight, so to speak. But the attack is not helping them in the slightest. Salah, Nunes, Firmino, none of them. You know what I mean? Firmino at times, yeah, but as an overall, no. They've not shown enough this season, in my personal opinion. Tonight, I saw that. Tonight, I was watching that attack because I said it's an interesting attack. Obviously, you got Gakpo, you got Carvalho, you got Elliot. None of them are quick, really. None of them like to get in behind. They're all ball to feet type of players. Do you get what I'm saying? They're players who like to get on the ball and accept it.
All three of them are ball to feet type of players.
Yeah, all three of them, exactly. And that's why I said that's quite interesting that he's gone with. He's kind of gone for type. Do you know what I mean? He hasn't even picked one. Like he didn't even go with Salah. He didn't even go with just one player who likes to run in behind. I said, okay, cool. Let's see how how this kind of plays out. And obviously the first half played out. We played really, really well in that first half. And I think for me, the biggest thing was the pressing from the attack in that first half. Because if you watched they showed it anyway in the halftime highlights on BBC. Was you saw it? Gakpo, we'll get into his performance. He was pressing a little bit, but Carvalho and Elliot Elliot especially was pressing. They were pressing. Salah doesn't do that. He doesn't do that at all anymore. He just kind of stands there, and you even saw when he came on, he's just chilling and waiting for the ball to get there.
I'm gonna get onto Mr. Number 11, man. I'm gonna get
Even I was like, I noticed a drop in our intensity, not just when he came on, but I noticed it a lot more considerably when he came on the pitch, because I was just like, huh. And it felt like he had to almost bring on Bento just to bring something a bit more lively just to the attack in the general sense. But it was, for me, the attack. That's what allowed Bajcetic, Thiago, Keita to be able to press for one, but also get on the ball and showcase their skills. That's when we can see our midfield. So whether it's a technical midfield like today, or whether it's going to be like an intensity midfield like the Fabinho's, Hendo's, and Gini of old, we saw that today. We literally saw that tonight, where the attack was the catalyst for that midfield and for the team to be able to press and do, exactly what we needed to do. And that, for me, I'll be honest, that impressed me as a whole. That was probably the most impressive thing for me tonight. And that, because I said, if you don't see that, it doesn't matter. Like, Bajcetic can play how many, it doesn't really matter. Thiago can keep doing all this flashy crap, but it doesn't matter, because if the attack are not helping him, what would you expect them to realistically do, as well as them, dropping off themselves in terms of their form and, stuff like that. But the attack in that first half, really, really good, man. That for me was the standout thing of tonight's game, to be honest.
Yeah, for me as well, what I wanted to kind of highlight as well was the possession-based game that we like. Yes, we went and pressed, but we didn't press a la 18, 19, like when we pressed with Mane and stuff. And Bobby, there were different beasts in how they pressed.
Of course.
We saw Mane could press 3 players at one time by himself and win the ball and score a goal. They're not going to be able to go and do that. But what we saw was, because of the types of players we had, the distances between the forward line and the midfield weren't far. Because what you have, and this is the problem, is that we've gone with this midfield, the likes of like kind of Thiago and Elliot or whoever that we've played in there, even Henderson, to be fair, because he hasn't got the legs anymore. And they want to kind of play with the ball, because Thiago's kind of essentially become their system, like in terms of they're giving him the ball, he gives it back, giving the ball, gives it back, right? That kind of Busquets kind of role. When you have that, but then all your runners are in behind and you've only got one person coming to feet. So Nunes runs in behind, Salah runs in behind, and then you have someone on the left who is obviously Diaz or Gakpo, or it's been Chamberlain, but comes to feet a bit more, right? Those two players that run in behind, they force your decision. So everyone knows the runs that you go and make as a forward, you force the decision of the centre mid to make the decision what to go and do. So if you make that run and he's picked up his head and he sees Salah as fast as he is and Nunes as fast as he's making a run, you're naturally going to go and try play a ball over the top. When we go and do that, we keep giving the ball away. Yeah. But because these guys are so fast and we're playing on the last man, and let's say we win it back in our own half, right? Because we're a bit deeper, we've been countered, but we win the ball, which happens a lot of the time. You get the ball and they're just pumping it first time. So it's Henderson, Thiago are pumping it first time. What happens when all these players come to the ball? Yes, you don't have the threat going in behind anymore, but what you have is the fluidity. So come off, they pop it off. Even Gakpo weren't great, but how many times did Gakpo come deep and get on the ball, feint, give it back to Bajcetic, Bajcetic gives it back to Thiago spreads it out wide, and the fullbacks have time to go and get forwards. How many times did Tsimikas have time to get forward? Carvalho comes and gets the ball. Gakpo's next to him, he does a little 1-2, gets it. By that time, you already have an overlap. That allows us to actually play this kind of possession football much, much better. And I'm not going to lie, we looked better without Salah, because essentially the problem, and I'm going to be honest, Salah, because of he's so influential going forward and we know he can go and score goals, he becomes the focus. So everything goes through him. Every pass goes into him. Even when he's playing out wide, every pass is always linking up down the right. We used the left a lot today. Tsimikas was going in and getting forward. Meant that Carvalho was getting on the ball, and yes, he didn't have the best of games, but you saw how we linked up, the little step overs, little cuts inside, passes across the box. It caused issues. So for me, Yeah, man. We got because think about it. I'm going before I let you go, man. We're
No,
going into this Chelsea game, and I want to see, and Arteta did this really well, and I remember just play the same team now. If it's going wrong at half time, right? It doesn't matter. You then bring on the big guns and see what they can do. He was
Mm,
doing that with Aubameyang and Lacazette and all these other players before.
mm.
That's what we got to do. Pepe and all of those, they would come in the second half because they've got the experience. He knows what they can offer. You don't know what these players can offer, and right now they're playing it in better form. So you better off playing them. Better off playing them.
I think obviously, look, if you look at the game as a whole, obviously I asked you the question before at the beginning when he came on about Bajcetic, and obviously for me, I don't start him against Chelsea. And not because I don't think he's good, or not because I actually agree with everything you said in regards to, potentially giving players form and stuff like that. I would still go with Thiago Keita, but I'll probably throw Ox in there instead. And the reason why I would do something like that and not play Bajcetic is because what we saw tonight is we were good, but Wolves did nothing and they offered nothing. So when the team isn't on, like they didn't press, they weren't really in on goal. It was only really in the last 10, 15 minutes Podence came on and, they started getting a bit more lively and stuff like that. Wolves allowed us the ball for basically the whole of that first half. So in my eyes, when I was watching it, because I kept thinking to myself, why are Wolves not pressing? Like it's getting kind of boring. I'm starting to fall asleep. Like we're just playing the ball around and not really doing anything. So I was actually falling asleep a little bit. So it was actually kind of boring. And I just kept thinking to myself, why are Wolves not, they allow it. And in my mind, I'm also thinking they're quite stupid because they're allowing players like Thiago, Keita, and Bajcetic, all really good ball playing midfielders. They're allowing them time on the ball. Like that, wouldn't that be suicide in my eyes? Like I would think so anyway. That you wouldn't want to let these guys have too much possession on the ball because they can pick out a pass. They're very good with their neat touches and stuff like that. All excellent at that. So why they weren't pressing? Wolves, I thought were going to be a threat down the wings. When we had the ball down the wings, Wolves weren't pressing. Just allowing us the time. We were able to bring the ball up 10, 15, 20 yards. Every time we got the ball from centre back onwards, we were able to keep bringing the ball up. Wolves are not pressing whatsoever. I don't see Chelsea doing that. Chelsea are going to come out. Well, I think anyway. I don't know, but I think Chelsea are not going to do that. If that is the case, I then look at someone like a Bajcetic and I think to myself, when you've got time on the ball, get him in. Get him in. He's a lot more. He's got more mobility than a Fabinho kind of thing. So you want him in and around, being able to kind of move when he needs to and be able to get up and down and move side to side, whatever. He's kind of the guy. When you're up against Chelsea, I don't think Chelsea are going to allow. I think Chelsea are going to try and hit us as hard as humanly possible, kind of thing in this kind of game, and it's that type of game anyway. So I think with that, do I trust Bajcetic in there? I guess we'll never really know until we see him actually play and get on that field. So it's not like I'm against it. If we see him in there, I'm not going to be like, oh, why is he playing? Blah blah blah. Of course not. Like I think he is a decent player. I just don't know if I'd play him in these kind of games. Aaron, you said it perfect. Yeah, like this comment right here, so I can get it up. Yeah, that's exactly what I see. How I see Bajcetic. I in big games, nah. I just think you'll drown. Like you'll drown in a game where the midfield is going to be so vital. When you're against a team like a Wolves or as you said, any of these bottom low league teams, you play Bajcetic. This is where you start using rotation. This is where we start giving players a bit more of a rest because we're not relying on Fabinho or or whoever in these kind of games. This is where I feel like Bajcetic will shine and he'll still get that experience of playing. Of course, he's going to have to try and play a big game one time, of course, to, get used to it. But at the same time, we can blood him in those type of games. So if we played, I think we've got Wolves again in the league. I believe so. We've got Wolves again at the Molineux. I think play him. I play him in that game. Of course I play him in that game. Against Chelsea, I don't think so. I think I would probably be more comfortable with seeing someone. Maybe I would actually probably just play Ox in there. I'd keep Kate and Thiago because they're quite proven in those positions. As we already, and I'm seeing people in the chat say it, saying it there. I'm not playing Fabinho or Hendo. Don't worry about them. I don't want to see them man touching pitch for a long, long time. I would try and give Ox a go, in that middle of the park. But in regards to tonight, what we saw from Bajcetic is that he is someone who he's just really good on the ball. I think that's what I noticed about him. He's just really, really good on the ball. Ram said it in the Liverpool chat earlier on. Switches a play, he's crap at that. He needs to stop trying to switch the ball because he cannot do it to save his life. He needs to just.
These brothers, like you said, that popcorn, iron brew, that refresher.
Yeah,
the powdered sugar diet. Like, you're on the way to school and you're just tipping sugar into your mouth. That diet there is shocking, man. It's shocking. I'm looking at Lewis Hall and Chukwuemeka and all of that. They're all the same age, They're all the same age. It's looking crazy. I'm not even going to speak on Liverpool's academy. I'll leave that because it's a good night, so I'll leave them in there. But you're 100% right, though. This popcorn diet, because they ain't got no strength in their legs because they don't seem to be able to do these cross-field passes and, stuff like that. But in terms of his just ball-playing ability, someone who you're comfortable with to get on the ball, he showed some nice little, getting out of tight spaces and stuff like that. I was really, really, impressed with that part of the game. But it's like I said before, for me, the bit I was really, really impressed with, which I feel is going to get bypassed by quite a lot of people because they're going to speak about Bajcetic and they're going to speak about Thiago and Keita. The attack is why you saw the best of those three. Don't sleep on the attack, guys. If you got to watch the game back, please watch it back again. Just look at how the attack were pressing and then see what happens when they attack. You then start to notice the midfield. And as Jerry rightly said, the gaps between the midfield and the attack isn't so large anymore. And to be honest, at times today, it was actually a bit of a gap there anyway. But if they're still pressing, boom, yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. So yeah, man, for me, it was a good 70 minutes. After that, they just we just started. Yeah, but you know what? It was better. It was a much better improvement. The Bajcetic thing is weird. It's weird because I'm of the feeling, if you drown, innit? I want to be really ruthless now. On every level, because that's how you keep up standards.
I agree.
You're at Liverpool, right?
Mm.
You're in our team. We haven't sent you out on loan. You're training with the first team. You're playing in that game. If you drown and you ain't good enough, That's fine. We sell you. You're gone. Never to be seen again. That's fine. But we don't know how good these brothers are until they go and play. So, even like I said, Saka last season before that, under Ljungberg, under Emery, all these things, he'd have 2 good games, 1 rubbish game, 1 horrible game, then 2 meaty games after that, then 3 good games, 5 horrible games, 1 meaty game, but he's playing consistently. So you're seeing, because of the situation they're in, they're languishing, trying to get into the top 4, top 5, whatever it is, that transition because they ain't got a manager. He's playing regardless. So then he gets to that level where he's at now. Bajcetic won't be able to get to that level if we try to do this thing that Klopp likes to do, we have to protect the players. Fuck protecting players now. F protecting players. F protecting them from injuries. F none of that. Right now, we need grafters, innit? We need grafters. If it means Milner's got to play every single game to go and get these buck up Trent's ideas in terms of, you know what, we hear you got quality delivery from right back. You can win a game from right back. But you know what? We need someone solid. And that's what we want to base our team around, being solid, being hard to beat. Then going forwards, you play all these brothers because he's done it today. How are you going to go and if he's coming off this game thinking, regardless of how Wolves played, he's probably coming off this game thinking, right, I had a good game. He knows I had a good game. The only way you're going to be able to go and give him any confidence is by saying you're playing the next game now, you had a good game. Because if he comes out of the team and he's out of the team now, like Carvalho now, for the next 2-3 games, because we've got Chelsea, then we've got Wolves in the league. Then after that, we got Real Madrid coming up soon as well. Then we got Newcastle. If he comes out of those teams and he's not playing in those games, might as well forget that then. This is all used, is pointless. It was pointless. So for me, it's all of these brothers, for me, everything should be now based on form. Everything. Forget.
I agree with that.
Bajcetic, you played well this time. Right, Fabinho, you're sitting then. You're sitting until you can back up your ideas. Henderson, like Trent. We didn't concede, bro. We didn't concede. We conceded 2 with you. Sorry, no matter how good you are, you're sitting on the bench. Matip, you're gonna have to fight for your place from Gomez. Gomez played on the left side, was decent. Simicas, like Robbo, you're not playing. But that's gonna put the mentality into these players that, okay, when I get that chance to play, I have to perform. Because right now, a lot of these players know that they're gonna play. Salah knows he's gonna play. Salah knows he's gonna play. Hendo knows he's gonna play. Fabinho knows he's gonna play. He's got no competition. Van Dijk knows he's gonna play. But guess what? If they don't know they're gonna play, if Klopp goes and actually changes the script and says, I used to trust you guys, I don't trust you guys anymore. Are we going to get a response from these players? If they don't give a response, they're not good enough. Simple.
I agree. No.
If we're sitting there at the end of the season and saying, right, you know what? Elliot and Bajcetic, I'm not going to lie, like Elliot has had a better season than Salah. He's kept Salah out the team. Tough. Forget what you've done in the past. Forget it. I don't care anymore.
No,
Here's what it is. We saw it. Look what Arteta did with Aubameyang. Look what Arteta did with Aubameyang. Aubameyang was Arsenal's top goal scorer like 3 seasons in a row. 20 goals plus in all comps. Consistently. What happened the season after? No. If you're not going to do what I'm asking you to do, are you not playing then? Everyone was like, wow, that's mad. That's mad from Arteta. How can he do that? He's reaping the rewards now. They're reaping the rewards.
I think it's everything you're saying. 100% agree. I think it's facts as well. The proof is in the pudding. To be honest with you, I think the problem that Klopp will have is that he's already set a precedent. He's already set that from since he first walked in through the door. To be honest, in terms of the loyalty, the trust in the players that he's got. So as you said, your Van Dijks, your Fabinhos, your Hendos, your Salahs, your whoever. He's set that precedent for so long. Trent, Robbo, he said for so long. I guess now this is where you earn your money, innit? Can you break that? Because obviously the team are playing shit this season. So can you break that to potentially? And what did I say before the game about the changes? Maybe you just get a tune out of someone. Maybe we just see something a little bit different. I think the only change that was probably different was I didn't have Doak and obviously Salah and Ox in the middle, but I was like that midfield three today anyway was fine regardless. So you just as Jerry said, like rightly so, just get a tune. Like we Chris McAvoy here. Like we need players who are not guaranteed. I've said this for years with Liverpool. I am tired of knowing exactly who we're going to play every week. From Saturday to Saturday or Saturday to Wednesday to Saturday, I know who's starting. I don't even need to look at a team sheet. I could do a predicted 11 for 5 to 6 games in a row, barring injury, and I know exactly who's going to play. I knew exactly who was going to. I hated it. I actually used to hate it because I used to say, "There's no you're so predictable." And teams then eventually, yes, you can be good. And I'm not saying, of course, we won the Premier League, won Champions League, blah blah blah. That will always be the rebuttal that people will come with. But at times, you do need to be able to show that you can be a bit unpredictable. Shit, is he going to play Gakpo today? Is today maybe the day he plays Nunes? Maybe we choose Doak on the right, or maybe we actually go Elliot on the right this time because of how we want to play today. Maybe he wants a more possession-based. You can't play a possession-based game with Salah in the team. He's not that kind of guy. He wants, as Jerry said, he wants to run in behind. That's all him and Nunes want to run in behind. So to try and use that, and then all we keep doing is knocking it long, and then you're still trying to play possession, and then you get caught out, and then you're already missing 2 players because they're up the field. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And that's why having this type of attack, and again, I'm not sitting here before the game and acting like I saw that lineup before we was going to win. I still thought we was going to lose, but I thought Wolves would perform a lot better than they actually did. And we saw a little bit towards the end that when Wolves kind of ramped it up a little bit, they became a lot, they were getting into the game and, they were a bit of a threat. But overall, I think you're right, bro. I think from here on out, Klopp's got some, key decisions. The Kelleher thing as well. I'm still baffled about that. Like he played Kelleher today, and I was like, because what you said before the game made me. I was about to change my team. I was like, oh yeah, he did say that Alisson was his FA Cup goalkeeper. So why did he play Kelleher today? And Kelleher's a good goalkeeper. You know what I mean? He brings a level of calmness kind of about him because he's not as flashy, would I say, as an Alisson, those kind of goalkeepers, because he's not probably as good with the ball at his feet. So he's just kind of no nonsense, gets the ball out of the air, he does his thing, blah, blah, blah. And I like that about him. I like the fact that he's just a good goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? I don't necessarily need all the extras, you know, that come with Alisson. But again, I'm not saying Alisson isn't world class, by the way, before people start DMing me and such and shit. But I still think Alisson is obviously one of the best goalkeepers, if not the best in the world. But he does bring that. It's going to be tricky. It's going to be interesting what that lineup's going to look like against Chelsea. Honestly, I really, really think it's going to be very, very interesting, especially because it's at home as well. Does he just go with the attack? No, I don't think he's going to go with that same attack. Salah's coming back in, guaranteed, like 100% guaranteed. So that's right wing already sorted. Nunez is apparently going to be fit for that game.
If he's fit, he plays, man. If he's fit, he plays.
He plays. So all of a sudden,
why are we wasting our breath, man? I know Jay.
And Jerry, this is what gets fans so mad, is because we're looking at a game like tonight and we're saying we wanted to see something different. Now, overall, the performance is like a 6 out of 10, like an overall performance. But in comparison to what we've seen for the last 2 games that have been zeros and -6s, and you know, all of that Brighton game was a -100. So to go from that to a 6, I'm looking at that thinking, okay, say no more. I'm actually sitting there saying, okay, say no more. Let me see if you're the big man that people say you are. And let me see if you're someone who's actually brave enough. Let me see if you're this whole I'm not too loyal. Let me see if that actually comes into effect now on the weekend. Are we going to see, if I see that same midfield free and maybe some changes in the attack, if I see Salah dropped for a game, maybe not, he might not drop for a big game, but maybe if I just see Salah drop for a Premier League game, just one game, try Doak in there, try Elliot, put Elliot as a right winger. Funnily enough, he played pretty well.
How can you, but that's what I'm saying. How can you go, yeah? This is what I'm saying, because we talk about the loyalty that Klopp has, yeah? What about the loyalty to the players of like Elliot and stuff? Like, yeah, you're giving him games, but he's just scored a goal at right wing. Play him there again. Like,
see how he goes.
Like, you're going to go and give loyalty to these other players, but you're not giving loyalty to the likes of Jones and Phillips and stuff that have stuck around and not got minutes consistently. The likes of Naby Keita that has been fit and hasn't been getting minutes until recently. Like, if you're talking about like loyalty, where's the loyalty to these players? Because you're telling us, oh, the solution's not in the market. So if the solution's not in the market and the current players that the starting 11 aren't doing their job, the only place you can look is at the bench players and the youngsters. Play those brothers, play them.
I think right here, this comment right here from our big Albert, man. Whether we win or not against Chelsea, I know we can at least try harder, and that's just it. We just want to see something. One, we want to see something different because they're tired of the same shit and just continuously losing every single week, or just playing poorly. Maybe not even always losing, just playing shit. I think we want to see something different, and we will see. I personally believe we will see a difference in performance-wise. Now, whether that means you go out and beat your Chelseas and all of that, that remains to be seen. I don't think so, but it remains to be seen. But I definitely think we'd see a better performance in these games if he just took that stupid loyalty out of it and just said, let me do that. Jerry made a good point about your Trent. We conceded 2 with Trent, 3 the other day. So that's 5 goals that everyone's talking about Trent. I'm not saying, by the way, it's not Trent's fault. So please do not attack me. I'm just saying that it's just always funny that you can see the 5 goals in the last couple of games. Trent comes out of the team. Boom.
Imagine Mudryk against Trent.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? I would prefer.
We saw what happened with Mitoma.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the guy he's going to be making his debut, I believe. Yeah, we're making his debut in that game. So he's going to want to shine. He's going to want to show everybody, yo, this is why they paid 100 million euros for me. This is why I'm the guy that they're talking about in the Ukrainian league. I'm up against one of the best right backs, arguably, out there. Let me show everyone what I can do. Let me. Yeah, I mean, I know he's been watching the tapes of Trent this season. I know he has. Come on, stupid. He's seen the Twitter compilations. We all have. So I know he's been watching, thinking, yeah, Trent, yeah, I might have this one still, Gaffer. Yeah, I mean, you might want to just throw me in like you did João Felix. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
It's not even that. Imagine he don't play. Imagine you don't start, but you have a brother like that coming off the bench.
Yeah.
When you got Trent, really? For me, it's just one of those ones where I'm sorry, Trent, innit? Like, you're a great talent. But yeah, you're a luxury player.
And we've got too many of them.
You're a luxury player. You're not a player when the chips are down, you're stepping up.
Mm.
Like, he's not. He's just not. Like, like Trent would have never performed. Like, I'm sorry if this offends anyone, innit? You see 05, you see the Champions League
We're
final.
never sorry.
We're never. No,
never
actually, we're never. Yeah, I mean, but you see 05 Champions League, Trent could never be part of that team. Trent would have never been part of that team. Doesn't matter how much attacking prowess he would have had. He would have never. You see the way Gerrard was defending and Carragher were defending. I've never seen that from Trent.
You're talking about Gerrard defending. I'm talking about how about I'm seeing man like Jimmy Traore just put in the performance of his life. Jimmy Traore, people. This is the kind of players that we had back them times. But Igor Biscan and them man putting a heart on the line.
Exactly.
Heart on the lines.
But that's why for me, Klopp, this culture, he's got to go and get it across that what he's doing now, it's like he's sacrificing his philosophy, the culture he's created and everything for these players because of his trust in the players. You have to have loyalty in one or the other. One of them's got to take precedent. One of them has to take precedent. So you see, for example, like Klopp, right? No, Pep, right? Guardiola. For him, remember, it was Henry at Barca. You're staying out wide, bro. And I know you're striking that, but I don't want you to do that. You're staying out wide. When you couldn't go and do that, or when Ronaldinho couldn't go and do that properly because he wanted to float around, then Pep and Guardiola was like, no, I'm not even trying to hear that. I'm not even trying to hear you doing that. You're gone, bro. You're gone. Doesn't matter who you are because the principle that I believe in is more important. So Klopp's got to pick what's more important. Is it his principles? Is it the morals? Is the values he wants in the team? Or is it this loyalty he's got with these players? That's for me do I mean that's the conundrum because he keeps talking about the players are there, but I can't win the challenges for them. Well, if you can't win the challenge for them and they're not doing it, you either got an alternative. You either stick it out, which is just a stupid thing to do, or you just go and be like, all right, cool, this brother's going to do it instead. Bro, we've had experiences, G, ourselves. Like we've had experiences ourselves, G, where I'm not going to get into the nitties and gritties, but there's a situation where something needs to be done. You're relying on someone to do something. They don't do it, and you have to do it yourself anyway, and you've got to make a drastic decision. Like, do you know what I mean? It happens in life. That's, for me, what Klopp's got to go and now bring to the table. That's what he's got to bring to the table now. So, look.
Listen, first of all, LOL. Secondly, now, again, what you're saying is facts, man. And look, at the end of the day, we won, so I'm happy in that much. But for me, it's not even the win, man. That part is whatever. It is really like just the performance of some of the things I was seeing. Like that is what I was watching so much more in the game. Like that's what I was so intrigued about. I wanted to see what is it like when you actually play. You're trying to play possession-based football, no problem. So you're trying to tell me it's taking you to January the 17th. To play the players who actually can play possession-based football. It's taking you this long to get to this point. So, cool. We'll get onto that another day about Klopp. If you've now done that, you can't even go back to your old shit now. Yeah, like I'm sorry, but you couldn't go back to that. We can't go back to like I'm not saying yes for every game, but I'm saying like he can't then go back to then. It's Gakpo, it's Nunez, Salah, and whoever up top, kind of Gakpo or the other way around, whatever. Because then it's not the same football. Then you're gonna have to change up the whole way that you play. Jerry's right, and he knows already, and he knows already. Salah's my guy. Salah is my guy because I just like the fact that he's selfish in what he wants to do as a football player. He's just that type of individual. All he cares about is he's a winner. All he cares about is I just want to get the goals. Cool. I love that about football players, that kind of mentality. But if it's going to be a detriment to the team, then I don't give a two hoots you are. But I could sell you tomorrow for all I care. You're getting to the end of your career, like ending of your career as it is. We're reaching that kind of period now. Maybe Elliot does need to come in for things. Maybe we do need to actually see. Maybe that's why we don't need to necessarily go out and buy a right winger because you've got Elliot and you've still got Ben Doak who's still there. So maybe that's what I don't know. Maybe that's what the plan is. I don't really know because we haven't actually seen it this season that much. To me, maybe Elliot's played there like twice, I think, this season, including today. So it's going to be interesting. Like for me, it's going to be really, really interesting to see what he does. Carvalho obviously won't play left wing. That's fine. I know he's not a left winger. I played good today, but naturally that's just not his position. But even he was in tune, you know, with everything that's going on, in terms of how the team was pressing and stuff like that. But one player I do want to speak to you about was, how did you find, as an overall, and I know today was his third game, how did you find Gakpo's performance overall?
Look, who he is. I look at a player and he's decent.
Yeah.
So he's technically better than Nunes. I don't get frustrated when he comes deep and gets the ball. He connects with the ball well. You can see he's got the right ideas. He's technically sound like a Dutch player, like you can see he's a Dutch coming from that Dutch schooling, right? He's not gonna have. He's not having the impact that we thought he would. We hoped that he would have had that Diaz impact. He comes in and galvanizes everyone, right? But we spoke about kind of the situation he's coming into. He's also coming into a team that doesn't really have an identity. I'm looking at a player and I don't know what he is in this team. He's another player, a square peg in a round hole type of player. I'm looking at him and I'm like, on the left wing, does he offer us what Diaz or even Jota offers or Nunes? No. Within the system that we're playing currently anyway. On the right, we haven't seen him. Down the centre, is not really his game. I don't know. I actually do feel if you went to United, he'd be popping off right now. If you went to United right now, he'd be popping off. If he was at United, he'd be popping off at United because
Sancho would be looking over his shoulder thinking, fucking hell, more players coming into like the wing positions. Like, he'd be pissed right now.
Yeah, I mean, you'll be pissed and you caught life. But I just don't see the plan with him. I actually don't see it. I don't think he'll be a target man, because I think that goes away from his game. I think that goes away from his game playing up front. He's a decent player. Like, I don't look at him and think, oh, he's raw. He ain't got. Do I mean this? That. But that's it. That's it. And I mean, for the situation we're in now, we said, if you're coming in right now, we need to go. We need you to pop off. We need you to pop.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, and I said it's not his fault. I said it shouldn't be. But we need him to pop off the same way if we sign a midfielder, we need you to pop off. Linda's called you the missing link. You're the missing link, as in you're missing. You're missing in games. You're not offering us what we think. So look, I think
No, go on. Finish. No, finish. No, I was just going to ask you, like, what is his position then? Like, I'm confused. And like, Albert, I saw your message about, you're saying he's playing our position. Is he though? He's played that position before, so I don't agree with that, because
I'm not going to lie to you. If you're a professional footballer, yeah, and you play on the left wing, you should be able to play on the right wing. If you're a professional football player and you play on the left wing, you should be able to play down the centre. You should be able to. If you're a real proper good footballer, I think you can. For me, he'd suit that kind of second striker 10 role. We don't play with that though.
So now what?
I think he does better at Arsenal. I think he does better at, like, for instant impact anyway. I think he does better at Arsenal. I think he does better at United. I just don't.
Surprised they didn't go in for him.
Yeah, it is surprising. Especially considering, I think they were just so hooked up on Mudryk. I think they wanted that explosive pace in it, because they've got Odegaard playing in that role. I don't think they really need that. They've got Jesus as well and Ketia, but it's weird. His passes ain't great, so he doesn't really. This is the problem. He's not like Coutinho playing out wide, where he's going to thread a ball through the eye of the needle, or like a Bernardo Silva or a Mahrez. But then he's not like a Mane that's very explosive. He's a bit in between. Our position, our game is, there's no control in our game in terms of waiting for people to get into the right position to then kind of execute our plan, like Holland do or like City do, where they just pass the ball about at their best anyway, pass the ball about for so long, Haaland gets in his position, ball comes across the box, bang, he just taps it in. Because that's not happening, for me, he's having to do a lot of kind of running and his instinct running and catching teams on the break. When I looked at his highlights and looked at what he's doing at PSV, it weren't catching teams on the break. They dominated a lot of the ball, but we're not dominating.
The ball was going through him. Remember, always,
It was.
and he's not gonna. It's never gonna happen here. There's not gonna be a time when you're gonna be the main guy. Like the ball isn't gonna go through you. It's not happening, bro. You got Salah, you got Nunes, you know what I mean? You got Diaz when he plays. Like it's not gonna go through you. You're gonna be like the periphery kind of guy, like every now and again kind of thing. So no, I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. So yeah, but like big up to Albert, because Albert's saying, look, he can, but what was his best position? Attacking from the left. Yeah, that's fine. But then if everyone's fit, he doesn't start on the left. I'd rather have Nunes on the left. I'd rather have Jota on the left. Right now, I'd rather have Diaz on the left, 100%.
That's three, man.
And that's 3 players. So then where is he playing? Is he 4th choice? Let's say Nunes plays on the right. Is he 3rd choice then? I'd have all those players playing overhead of him if everyone's fit. So that poses the question: is he the right player for us? Yes, I think in the right system you can come good. Of course, we saw it at Holland, done well in the Holland team. You saw it at PSV. Of course, he will do well. Is that system gonna help him? So I don't know.
So it's like, yeah, and listen, guys, look, I'm really not trying to get on to it, but we got to judge these things how we see them, and you know, everything that's kind of going on. And I think, you know, we're looking at Gakpo, and I think, yes, of course, when he came in, you know, you want that Diaz impact, but I think most of us were realistic in knowing that he probably wouldn't have that type of impact, because we didn't know that Diaz would even have that kind of level of impact. I didn't think Diaz was going to do that at all. Like, I was thinking, who is this guy? Like, why do we sign him? But he came in, he did his thing, blah, blah, blah. Mane obviously playing poorly. So all these things kind of just helped towards that. But when I'm watching Gakpo, as Jerry said, it's just weird. I just don't know what is. I asked this the other day and I got told, no, and that's only his 2nd game, blah, blah. And again, today I'm asking, yes, in terms of that first half, he pressed very well with the front 3. But that's all he did well. Yeah, he dropped deep and he's good. And Jerry's so right. Like when you said he's not raw, I was like, yeah, it's like he's not a raw guy where I'm looking at him thinking, oh, this brother's touch is like Nunes, bro. Like, what is going on? Like, I'm comfortable with him on the ball.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. I don't know what to explain him. You see, like,
I feel like he's just like a better version of Jones.
Like when we had like Maxi Rodriguez, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
He's not fast, but you're looking at him. He's technically sound. Like he gets the ball. And for me, that's the kind of what he's showing at the moment. And like we've relied on explosive wingers, like Diaz. I know you were saying, obviously, like you were like, why did we sign him? Obviously, because my missus is Colombian. Their family were telling me about Diaz when they were.
No, that's biased, bro. No, your missus being biased, bro.
But listen, they were probably being biased. Probably being biased. But for me, when they were telling me, oh, like, nah, Luis Diaz, like, he's good. I remember watching the thing, and I saw what it was, and I was like, oh, like I was excited to go and see that type of player because I knew he'd give us. I knew he could beat his man. Like he beat his man comfortably, and we've seen it. He can beat his man comfy. Like that's his bread and butter. I'm gonna beat you 1-on-1.
Yeah,
Gakpo's not beating you 1-on-1 like that. You need the whole team to click around. And when you look at Dutch players, if I chuck a few names out, it's like Gravenberch. What is he? Is he a 10? Is he an 8? Is he a 6?
There's no real. Yeah.
Genie, was he a 10? Was he an 8? Was he a 6? You have Coop Miners, Berghaus. Are they 10s? Are they 8s? Are they 6s? Are they wide players?
Depay.
What position is he? Is he a winger? Is he a striker? Is he a centre forward? Is he a 10? No one knows, right? No one knows. The same way with Gakpo. Gakpo in the World Cup was on the left. He then ended up being as a striker and scoring the headers. Like, I just don't get it. And because they play so many, like exactly, De Jong is the same. Big up to Scraps. When we look at De Jong, is he a 10? Is he an 8? Is he a 6? Because at Ajax, he was quite advanced. Yeah, they had Van de Beek, but he went a bit advanced. For Barca, he's deep. He was even deeper. He was even deeper for Holland.
Yeah.
So because they play so many roles, it's like they can play everywhere. So now when you're looking at that team, unless everyone can play everywhere and everyone's interchanging and fluid, it's not gonna really work. But for me, this is probably Gakpo's best performance.
Yeah.
But it's because everyone was fluid. Do you get everyone's
Yeah,
coming to the ball,
yeah,
everyone's getting the ball.
yeah.
He pops around, he's on the right, he's on the left, and that's what for me is helping him. So I don't know.
Look, everyone's thrown out. Yeah, he plays this. Listen, I don't think any of you know. I don't think we know either. I don't think he has a fixed position like that. I think maybe for me, he's a rotation player. I ain't starting Gakpo in any first 11, but in some games, Gakpo maybe is the type of player that you play and isn't. And of course, he's a very good option to have. Like Albert, you said it there. We got 5 subs, 100%. We got 5 subs. So, I mean, we can utilize that into our advantage, at some point in certain games and stuff like that. And I think having those 5 subs, again, when you've got different options, it allows for you to play a different type of game. Who knows if Klopp decides to go with that front line in another game when he wants to play a bit more possession based? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So when I'm seeing that, big up Ram, when I'm seeing that, I'm thinking to myself, right, okay, cool. Again, it's just one game, and I really don't want people to go overboard because it's only one game, and we'd have to see this on a more consistent basis because I've seen us play good for one game and everything looked amazing, and then I've seen us lose to Forest, and I've seen us lose to Leeds, and I've seen us lose to these guys. So I'm just trying to take it for the performance in itself. But when I am looking at him, I'm still confused as to, you don't really have a role here. And I can tell that you genuinely was just brought in because we got an injury. So are you going to be rated the same way when everyone comes back and everyone is fit? Probably not. But good option to have off the bench. Come on, man. Like that, the games like today as well, especially Gakpo starting. Oh yeah, I ain't crying over that. You know what I mean? Throw him in.
If you had to pick Gakpo, like Minamino or like Origi.
Oh, I'm picking Gakpo. I'll pick Gakpo. Bro, I hate Origi as it is, bro. Like I'm picking Gakpo every day of the week, bro. Every day of the week. So no, I think it's that. Me too.
Yeah, man. Ron, what's going on, man? Chat to us. You're wearing those Wolves colours. I don't know who are you repping today, man. Are you trying to rep a bit of the both?
Bro. 2001, man. 2001.
That's actually one of my favorite kits. I can't even lie.
I love this kit, man. Even though when I see this kit, it reminds me of an op, bro. I hate it at the same time.
You're legend, G. You're legend.
Come on, the legend Michael Owen. Michael, my favorite top 3 strikers for Liverpool. Come on.
Nah, but to be fair, him at that FA Cup final, bro, against Arsenal as well. Romz, I hope you're watching, bro. Against Arsenal, Michael Owen.
That's peak Owen, We ain't seen strikers like that around there, man. Peak Owen.
Man. Nah, we haven't. But I think in terms of the game, I think the only people I'll say I'll probably give credit to is the kids.
Yeah.
Bajcetic, Elliot. You don't count as a kid, but I still see him as a kid. Queeve as well. I think Queeve didn't have much to do, but when he was asked to do something, he looked pretty solid. A couple of balls in the air, showed his strength against like Costa and Cunha and people like that. Elliot got a good goal, looked pretty decent. Did he dally on the ball as much, but Bajcetic, he looks like a player, man. He looks like a player. There's still some tweaks in his game, like my man needs to learn how to switch a ball, bro, because he's struggling with that, but looks a little bit press resistant, good touch and aggressive. I haven't seen that this season at all from any player. And also the guy needs to go gym, bro, because my man needs to Goretzka, bro. He needs to do a Goretzka because he's getting pushed off and bullied. If he does that, he's going to be a serious player. But yeah, I think those 3 are happy. And I'm quite happy you guys are talking about Gakpo because I feel a little bit indifferent about today, Because I know you guys said his best attribute was him pressing. But I think in a Klopp system, don't you have to be that kind of player? Are we going to scrap over the bare minimum for a good striker? And I love how what's it called? You talked about Dutch football because that's the big problem that they have. Because you think about going back to the 70s, they had great individual players like your Cruyffs, your Nayskins, and your Kaisers. And then you go to the 80s, you got Van Basten, Hullet, and people like that. Then you go 90s, you got Seedorf, Kluivert, Davids. And then you go to the 2000s, you got Schneider, Robben. But now it's very, very dry. And the problem with the Dutch football philosophy of football, you don't have specialist players. That's why I prefer German football, because you got specialist players. But that's by the by. But it's the case of Gakpo is he looks like he's built like a number 9, very tall, very physical, but he's very technical as well. But he doesn't have that explosiveness to be a proper winger. So we're like, what are you good at? Because go on, Jerry. Go on, Jerry.
No, go on. Carry on.
I like compare it to like a Jota. Jota can get away with being a winger because Jota's got that quick turn of pace. He could just switch on in a moment. Gakpo ain't like that. Gakpo is a guy that likes to take it, have the ball, take it. Come short, take the ball at feet, and then lay it off or take a little bit of a run. Our wingers don't really do that, and I'm glad you talked about Diaz because whether it was a Pep Linda's recommendation or not, I was hyped for Diaz because I saw a little bit of him on Copa America, and I was like, you're not like Mane, but you're very similar in the fact that you can beat a man and you're explosive as well. Like you're like a jack in a box. Once he goes, you can't stop him. So that's why I was a bit hyped for the Diaz signing. But for someone like Gakpo, I'm like, okay, you're sick and you're quite technical, but how are you going to fit in this team? And that's my big question on him.
And do you know what my problem is with a lot of these players? Yeah, the likes of like even like Nunes and Gakpo is they don't play their size and their height. So the best example I'll use is that look at how close Lewandowski plays or how Ibrahimovic plays in terms of using their height. Once they put their foot on the ball you're not getting around them. You're not going to get the ball.
Ibrahimovic especially, bro.
Exactly. Yeah. With Gakpo, with Nunes, it always seems like they're trying to play like they're like Sterling size or Salah size, and it's like big man, like you're a 6'4" brother. Like you should be able to every time hold your brother down, and once you get your foot on the ball, he's not getting around you. Then use like your technical ability to kind of thing, bro. To help you out. It's like these players want to do all these little silky little touches and this. I'm gonna feint this way and go that way, but you look a bit mad when you do it because you're tall. Is that I used to get told is that when you grow up, obviously when you're younger, you're playing all this and trying to do all these skills. I was always told play your height. Like don't look to go and do like all these little flicky touches. You can do a feint like that and pop it off. Look how Ronaldo plays. Ronaldo plays his height. Stands tall. He's not coming low, and Gakpo always looks like he's a bit low. And
Jerry, do you know who's the opposite of that? And I'm glad you said that. Peter Crouch. Peter Crouch was a 6'7" brother, and he could not head a ball for some reason. I don't know how it worked, but he could not win a single header. And I did not get it.
But with Crouch, he played his height still. The ball comes to his chest, he's holding it. Like as a target man, it works. We've seen it. Like we've seen it. It comes to him, it sticks. He plays his height. When you put his foot on the ball, you struggle to get it off Crouch. When it goes to our forward players, like you struggle to get off Bobby, but that's because he's doing little touches in and out. But no one can go and put their foot in the ball a la Haaland when Haaland gets the ball, and it's like, okay, you're not getting around him now. Lewandowski right now is the best example of that. When he gets the ball, we saw it even in the World Cup. Yeah, he might do a wrong decision and try to run it into play. But when he gets the ball, puts his left foot out in the way, this brother tries to go and attack it. He hits that left leg, spins in that way, and then he can go and try to carry the ball. The likes of Gakpo and Nunes should be able to go and do that, and it'll give us a different kind of. Do you know what I mean?
R9 is a prime example for both the skill and the physical.
Exactly, but even R9, like those type of strikers, look how he rode those challenges. I need to see Gakpo doing that because he hasn't got the pace to go and run in behind. He like Kane does it well as well. Kane doesn't know when the ball comes to Kane, he doesn't lose the ball. With Gakpo, a lot of the times, it looked like he was about to lose the ball. And yes, he's a silky, nice kind of player. But then someone said it. It might be Gaklinton, isn't it? It might be he plays in the 8 or something because that way he can get on the ball. He's deeper. He likes to link up. He likes to drive with the ball. That might be his preferred position because at Liverpool, within Klopp's system, you need to be explosive. And Klopp's going to look at the likes of Diaz and Jota and say, how can we go and not play those brothers because of what they offer in the team?
So he's saying what? No midfield in the summer, yeah? Put Gakpo in there, yeah?
What's his name? Did Hamann say that? He thinks he's best suited as a number 8.
Did he say the same thing?
He said
the thing is, everyone lambasted him. All Liverpool fans, I saw them comments. They were like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And I was like, guys, listen to what and read what he's saying. Like, don't just
Like,
jump at someone when they make comments like this. Like, just listen to what they're
the
saying.
first bit he said was wrong. He's not. But when he hear what he said, like people, I think the presenter corrected him saying he's a forward, but
Mm.
he's like, but for me, I see him as a midfielder
Mm.
because the way he plays for me. And Didi Hamann is like the way he sees football is like all Germans. They see it like if you have those
1
capabilities.
+ 1 = 2. 1 + 1 = 2. It's just they look at a brother and they're like, hold on, you're 6 foot, right? And you don't want to go and you don't play your back to goal properly. You're an 8, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, it's none of this. Oh yeah, we're gonna play as a false. This it's no.
Not unless it's Thomas Muller, bro.
Yeah, but
not unless it's Thomas Muller.
No, but even Thomas Muller, it's like they know, like, yeah, you're not really playing in an 8. Like when we've got better 8s, they're going for the likes. So look at the profile of 8s Germany have produced. Look at the likes of like Ballack, Goretzka, what's it called? Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Matthaus and all
Box
of that.
to
It's
box.
yeah, it's just the specimens they have. Like even look at Bellingham. The fact that Bellingham plays in Dortmund, he's that type of profile of midfielder. You're not playing there as Muller. Like they're not creating Thiagos and stuff. Like they're just not. There's a certain profile of midfield that they want to go and have. So
tell you what, though, modern German football, they kind of have started to, because of the
No,
lot
they're
of
changing.
a lot of Turkish players are coming through as Germans, like Ilkay,
Emiri and stuff like that. Yeah.
So they are starting to broaden
So-
their horizons.
So maybe, maybe he's someone who can potentially, obviously depending on what we do in the summer and who we sign, who we don't sign, injuries and things like that. Maybe that's a position that we could potentially have him in that Naby Keita kind of role to, like today, for example, where you potentially play in that position because of your skill set. It's like Nunes. For me, I know everyone will say it, and for me, Nunes doesn't strike me as a number 9. I don't look at him and think this guy's a number 9. You have the skill set really to actually play more on the wing as opposed to playing up front in this team. Maybe in a different team, it might be a bit different. But in this team, your skill set doesn't really, you as a number 9 just doesn't work because of what we require from a number 9, in this team. But as a left winger, explosive, danger, tall, athletic, strong, like that's all the things that we need, on the wings kind of thing, in terms of when we're trying to play that high intensity football. So when I'm looking at like a Gakpo, maybe his skill set might just be better suited for playing in that midfield. I have no idea. Like, I know he's played in various different positions, but it could be something that we potentially look at, and again, these are the kind of things I would love to see from Klopp, like moving forward. Like, I'm not saying maybe he's tried it in training, obviously I don't know, and it might have just looked shit for all we know, but these are kind of things that maybe we do need to potentially start seeing and using the players. And this is what I keep saying about utilizing the players that you do have, which is something Klopp's not done all season. Utilize some of their skill set. Some of these players, like Jones on the left wing, almost scored today. But Jones likes playing on that left-hand side. He likes having that shot that he did. Jones loves that because he likes to get that quick yard, half a yard of space and try and finish with his left foot. That's what he wants to do. Do you get me? He doesn't need to be in the middle of the pitch. Elliot is shit defensively. Can't get back to he's not that kind of guy. But he's good on the ball. Player. He's got good touches.
And he can press.
So you put him on the right where you actually need your right winger to fucking press. So again, today we saw everyone, give or take, I'm trying to remember off the top of my brain, but give or take, we saw everyone in their correct position. Bar Carvalho being the only one who wasn't in his correct position, so to speak.
He still looked okay though.
Yeah, 100%. And this is what I'm saying. But it's like everyone else, big up, man. Everyone else was in their correct positions, and you just saw a difference in the performance from the team. Like I said, whether they keep it up, blah blah blah, remains to be seen. But there was a difference. There was a bit of a difference. That's what I will say. Neves passing, by the way. Big up Scraps. Like Neves passing. I'm sorry, I had to say it. Like, you see some of them passes, fucking ridiculous, bro. They were stupid.
You see the difference. This is what I'm talking about, right? I look at Thiago and I'm like, we've got this brother here. The way we play, like with the gaps, he's not playing those types of passes.
No.
He's not. He's not.
His passing range isn't even
range-
as good in my personal opinion. Not the way Neves is.
He's
in
very
my
good
personal
at creating a little bit of space and then
Yeah.
having time on the ball to just
and the thing is, it's so the way it is as well is that you as a midfielder, I can imagine you're trying to press and you're looking at him and you're thinking he's not going to find a pass from here. Like, as in he's not in the right body shape to even hit a pass.
Yeah.
Like, you see when Thiago's hitting a pass, it's like unless he does that reverse pass, right? I always feel like it's about to get intercepted. I don't know what
all the time. 100%.
I always feel like he plays hospital passes. Like in today, there's a couple of times you just playing the pass into Bajcetic or into Cavallo or Bajcetic. They're nowhere to be seen. It's like right up against their back. It's like you do that pass and this guy runs through him. That's a leg breaker. It's like you don't play it safe side. You don't really do that. And for his ability, you should be able to go and do that much better. Neves though, some of those passes. I mean, Liverpool could deal with that. Imagine having him doing those passes instead of Hendo in our team.
Bro, but he was picking the passes like from positions where I was just like, I can see the pass because I can see obviously I know you can see the whole pitch. I can see the passes there, but I'm not expecting you to go out and do it because in my mind, why would you? Yeah, like it's brother. All I'm saying is, that passing ability from Neves, that was second.
It's the volley. Did you see the volley he caught?
Oh, come on,
from the air.
I said that was traveling. As soon as I saw that,
I was going in. That was going in. Did you not? There's no block. If there's no block, that's going in. Keller gets stunned with that one. Like it's just.
I'd rather have Sandro Tonali though, bro.
Like, but Sandro Tonali's one of them kind of. Tonali can't pass like a Neves, so it just depends on what he's going to offer you in that type of a midfield. Tonali's more of a. For me, he reminds me almost a bit like a Gattuso, but someone more who can actually play though. Gets stuck into the challenges.
Like a merge of Pirlo and Gattuso.
Yeah. Can play that kind of football. Neves isn't a Gattuso by any stretch of imagination. He's just a guy that you kind of have. I wouldn't expect him to do too much pressing, but I would expect him to be like, pick up the ball from my defense. Yeah, give him the ball. Instead of Thiago keep fucking picking up the ball and doing nothing, give him the ball because he can find that pass. I don't need Van Dijk to be doing these long
remember we had that with Gerrard under Rodgers, where he'd go and get the ball and he'd turn and like he before he gets the ball, he's already scanned, right? So he gets the ball, takes a touch either left or right? So the 10s followed him or the strikers followed him. He takes a touch left or right or even sets it off. He gets it back and just goes doop and just drills it into whoever's made that run. Sterling, Coutinho, Henderson. Like that's something that if we're going to play the way we want to go and do, the amount of long passes we play, it can't just be Trent doing it from that angle because it becomes predictable.
Thank you.
This is what I'm saying though, because a lot of people are saying Bellingham. Can Bellingham do the creativity?
I've never seen a guy pass longer than like 10 yards.
That's why when I say I'm going to say this loosely because of that. What I'm going to say is never ever going to happen. But I believe having a centre midfield partnership of someone like Tonali and Bellingham next to each other, you will dominate midfields for the next 7 or 8 years because Tonali can do the creating from deep kind of bit, but also has the mobility. But also Bellingham, one thing that Bellingham is very good at, he's very good bringing the ball forward and playing those killer balls into the penalty box. That's what I give him a lot of credit for because a lot of the stuff that he does well for Dortmund is within that edge of the area kind of thing. So both of them together, you got yourself a solid centre midfield partnership.
So in saying that, I know this is a Wolves Liverpool thing, but just in saying that for like our midfield, does that then work for our midfield then? Because we don't necessarily, unless we're going to play, and again, even the midfield today didn't really do that. Where does that fit into this team then? Because I agree with you. I think he is like Ram said it just there a minute ago. He's a final third type of player. I don't look at our team and I don't see where that is required. Like none of the midfield is actually required to be a final third. Maybe navigate a little bit today, maybe. But yeah, would that really work here then? Like, do you think?
Unless
sorry. Before you get into that, Ram, because I actually want to hear what you have to say. No. Oh no. Bellingham's nothing like a KDB type of player. Nothing.
I think just to make it work. Because this is the problem with the Klopp system, and I sort of see the same thing, and I know the deficiencies. you have to be perfect in every situation. So if you have a player that has certain deficiencies, you have to hope that the other midfielders can make up for it. So if you have Bellingham and Tonali together, you need to have a proper sitter, but also incredibly mobile as well, like a Keepin Thuram, who is mobile and physically dominant. That's why Tonali can go forward and create from deep. Keepin Thuram can be like the enforcer that will get the ball, recycle it, and maybe play it off to Tonali, and then Bellingham could come
in
from
between,
deep
yeah,
and
the
then
in between,
carry it forward. This is the problem when you have players like that, because we can't because we all say Stevie would work perfectly for this team, because not only for his mobility, but his people forget his creativity from deep was mad. It's like stupidly mad. Like I remember I watched was it 03 or 4 Liverpool versus Arsenal at Highbury, and one of Michael Owen's goals was actually Steven Gerrard playing a pass scanned and played a cutting ball in behind the defense, and Michael Owen ends up scoring. It's like, obviously we would love him to be it, but there's no one like that in the world. I can give you Kimmich, nothing like that. Probably the closest is KDB, but he doesn't come from deep to get it like that. Not like that. He gets it from wide and then cuts it.
But for me, the reason why what I'm saying is we're talking about a player with mobility, right? We're playing with a midfield that hasn't got mobility anyway. So it means that if that's what we're saying, then we have to move away from that mobility. Why not have a 6 in the mold of a Neves, right? That can play that role, because he comes deep anyway. I know he can play further forward as well, but have a 6 in the mold of a Neves that isn't so much of a destroyer, but is that creating playmaker from deep. Because what you want in Liverpool is the team to go and defend well, and I think Neves is someone that can go and
as opposed to one player.
Fabinho ain't got legs. You don't need, like, Fabinho ain't got legs at all. So, like, do you know what I mean? And his passing range isn't the best. And even wasn't it against Brian? He actually played quite a good ball with his left foot into Salah. And to be fair, it only happened after Konate berated him for hiding, because Fabinho tried to actually go level with Konate. And Konate said, "What are you doing? That there's a gap in front." And he's played the pass into a space. Fabinho's obviously had to react, and he just played the first time left-footed pass. Great pass into Salah. I think you go with someone like that, and I think you scrap. I'm not gonna lie, the Thiago project. You can be in the squad, but I don't think you can be a starter, especially next season. For me,
I think he needs to transition to a teacher role. Like,
yeah,
sounds so mad.
That sounds so mad.
But he's, I think his reliability, but also the fact that he doesn't have the mobility of so many other players. I feel like we're just going to waste him. So what's the best way to use him? Play him sparingly, but also make sure he teaches the next player that is going to take up his role. Because if we are going to stick with the whole deep line playmaker midfielder, we need someone to learn off arguably the best, and that is Thiago. Because we're not, I guarantee you, we're not gonna go for a deep line playmaker 6 unless we could find someone who has everything in the mold, which is impossible in my opinion.
I think, and again, this is what I say. Like, this is what I say about Liverpool fans and getting overexcited with certain things. Thiago today, we saw him on the ball. On the ball, I already know what he's on. I don't even need to, I know what he's on. You know what I mean? On the ball, he's one of the best out there when he's on the ball. But in certain defensive transition plays, like, brother cannot run. Like, I'm just like, bro, you look so slow. Like, and the thing is, I can't even get mad at you because you're a center midfielder. That's not your game. But because you're so slow and you're one of the deepest players, if not the deepest player there at times, sometimes then that's why we're getting caught out in certain in the opposition's attacking transition, because it's like, well, this brother's mad slow. He can't always get there. I think he picked up a yellow card today. Couldn't really, do you know what I mean? Like small little things. Again, on the ball, yes, Thiago is, he's really, really good. And, this, that, and the other. And I'm not saying he isn't. Of course he is. And he makes a lot of tackles, in games kind of thing. Like, I just think that's more coincidence than anything, because no one else in the midfield has any level of mobility. He just happens to be the only one, able to do it. But at times when I'm watching, I'm just like, yeah, you're right. Like, for me, I don't start. If I was to sign midfielders for next season, he's not making the team. I would have, there's 3 midfielders I have in my mind, if Liverpool were able to sign them, I'd be like, yeah, that's my midfield for next
Oh, that's
season.
100% for
Do
me
you get
as
what I'm saying?
well.
But
I'm the same.
squad,
Yeah.
100%. Like you and guys, for people to learn off as well. Come on, man. Like, why wouldn't you want to learn off someone like a Bajcetic to even learn certain aspects of the game from a Thiago in terms of learning to play in these tight spaces and stuff like that. Again, it's not to say that Thiago isn't he's a luxury player, as Jerry said, just like a Trent. They're luxury players. So how many of them can you have in your team before it starts to look a little bit like, okay, cool. And I think the Liverpool fan base, it's like you get a bit confused when we see him play and you have games like today. That's where it then becomes, oh my days, he's so amazing. He's this. I'm like, yeah, I mean, he's in the midfield with Keita and Bajcetic. I would expect him to be the best player out of the three. Bajcetic was arguably a better performer because he was able to do both sides of the game really, really well, kind of thing. And he's able to get up and down. He's able to, help out defensively. And it's like, that's what I kind of, want to see from, my midfielders. But in some games, you need a Thiago. You just need a Thiago, to be there. Big up realism, Jai, by the way. Sorry, I had this comment up. Be realistic, guys. Nothing lasts 7 years at most. 3 years. And by the 4th, you need to have your new batch to be integrated in with them and eventually take over. Otherwise, 100%, yeah. You wouldn't have it for that long. You just wouldn't. It's one of them things.
And the players that we sort of relied on to be that kind of players just haven't done it. Like Naby was meant to be that guy. You could say extenuating circumstances, injuries, but he hasn't proved much, even when his best spell was when he first came. And how long ago was that?
Yeah.
And you're talking about Ox. Again, Ox, same reason. Injuries killed him. But injuries kill a lot of players. Injuries killed Joe Gomez. It hurts me because obviously he's a London. It hurts all of us. He's a London boy. We want London boys to do well. But we just have to face facts. Injuries kill players. And we didn't do enough in terms of whether it be it's down to Klopp, FSG, whatever. The main fact is we have two sides of our squad. We've got the really young side, which is about 19, 20, and then we've got the really old side, which is around 30 to mid 30s. And we don't have anyone within around about 23 to 27, which is a big problem. We seem to have it everywhere else, but not in the midfield, which is a big problem. And like you said, G, like if we all have our 3 midfielders that we want to get, 100%. And for a fact, Thiago won't be our starting midfielder. Like I'll tell you straight up, my 3 midfielders I want to get is Tonali, Thuram, and either between Kone or Bellingham.
Tonali definitely my one. He's definitely my Bellingham is not in my 3. I don't want that.
Yeah. But Thiago's not going to start in front of all of them. No, I'm sorry, but
it's a sick option. But wouldn't that be a sick option to have off the bench? Like people make out when you say it's funny. You just said that, and people are gonna hear that, and they're gonna only take that piece of what you just said and be like, "Oh, this guy. What do you mean you don't want Thiago? Thiago, and this, that, and the other one, blah blah blah." I'm just like, nah. Like listen to what's actually being said in that regards. Like I keep saying there's so many midfielders. People, I saw a comment today on Twitter, and someone was talking about this is a whole different conversation, but talking about like with FSG and like giving Klopp the money to buy like a Bellingham and stuff like that. I'm like, I mean, yeah, but I wouldn't be mad at them if they didn't. Like if they went out and signed, there's other players in the world who I think fit the system a bit better. Like you said, Tonali, 100% is going to cost you less than a Bellingham. I would not be mad if we didn't get Bellingham, but we got Tonali.
I don't know about that.
What you think he's costing as much as Bellingham? He's not costing.
I think he's going to cost 140 because he signed a 5-year deal.
He's not. He wouldn't. Just purely for the sheer fact that you always have to add on the English tax just as a base level, and the sheer fact that with Italian clubs, outside of what Lukaku going for, however much Chelsea signed him for, Tonali's not at the moment profile wise. I think he's a dope player. You think he's a dope player. Jerry probably thinks he's a good player. He's just under. So he wouldn't be seen as someone that you're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to splash 100 foot. Nah, I don't think AC would even realistically
But
even
do
ask.
Milan see him as that? That's the big one. Because remember, he's the guy. Because obviously he's
I
a
don't know,
Milan
man.
boy. He's a Milan boy. But it's Maldini also won't be. He won't. He obviously wanted him more than anybody,
Yeah,
and he will be like, we love him. He loves us. You're gonna have to pay big money for him. And Milan
Yeah,
won't budge, especially with their star players.
but you don't think if you went and chucked 80 million at AC
I was just
Milan,
about to say 80 as well.
move that they
I
ain't got
think
the
that 80
money.
mil they'll snap
They
that.
can't
I
turn
think they
that
snap.
down. They can't turn that down.
I mean, we're
Nah.
getting if it's true, we get Qatari owners. It don't matter. So it is what it is.
exactly.
But it's like,
Right.
but look, I see co-op. Yeah, like one thing. If it's Tonali, not even proven. Tonali won Serie A for Milan, and Milan were nowhere near.
Cool. Have you watched anything outside of English football? Because there's a couple comments that you've made earlier on, and I'm like, yo, that you're kind of showing me that you're not watching too much football outside of England. Yeah, I mean, like,
And
I need to know.
One benefit of Tonali, great at set pieces. So no more
Yeah,
Trent
he's
taking
good.
set pieces only. He can take them as well.
Yeah.
Another thing for goalkeepers to think about.
Exactly. But JS, big up to JS. JS is saying, can I ask why no club in world football is tugging Alexis McAllister? The man is a World Cup winner and probably one of the best centre mids in the world right now. You know what? He puts a fair point.
Nah, he is though. There's better teams out there.
I would have him. I just don't think for Liverpool he fits the system, the profile. There's loads of players that I'd want. I think the likes of Verratti, Barella.
Oh, Verratti, I would love to.
Like all those types of players, like I loved. Like in terms of if you ask me what type of midfielders, I think McAllister's dope. I think he's dope. To be fair, I thought he was dope when he first came. I just liked him. I was like, oh, okay, who's this brother? Good set pieces, good delivery. He won't do well. He could go to Arsenal and he'd ball out. He wouldn't do well at Liverpool.
Probably the most technical player that Klopp's ever made was probably Sahin. And Sahin wasn't a box to box mid. He was a 10.
Yeah, but that's mad. If he's the most, if he's the best out of that bunch, that's shocking. Look how that turned out.
Yeah,
I see him managing the other day. I was like, right. He's a manager. He's a manager. Nuri Sahin.
Nuri Sahin.
He's a manager.
The line.
Type it in right now,
No
bro.
way.
Type it right now.
No, he is. Antalya Sport. Oh my God.
How old is he?
Bro. I saw the clip the other day because
He's 34. He's 34.
I don't know what happened to his career, boy. I have no idea what happened to the end of that.
Last time I remember him was at like Werder Bremen. And that's it. Oh my God.
Still looks like the same brother. Like, he doesn't even look like his age. Like, he just looks the same. When I saw him, I was like, rotted. I did not know that he was a manager right now. Saw him.
That's mad. Apparently, apparently they're saying that Dortmund are looking at getting him as a manager.
No way.
There you go.
Look at that. I kid you not.
Madness. I didn't even know that.
I kid you not.
I forgot about him, honestly.
I've just literally checked his German Sky Sports that's talking about it.
Oh my God. Wow.
But how's he doing with
I don't know, but that's him there.
I told you, look, he hasn't really aged. He looks kind of the same.
Aged. Give me them jeans, bro. He hasn't
like
aged
that
at all. Bro, he looks like he's just the guy that we just signed, man.
No, but guys, he's 34. Like, what do we need? He's younger than we got Milner playing in our team.
Real talk.
That is true, bro. It's true.
He's what 1 or 2 years older than Thiago. He's the same age bracket. He should still be playing football. That's crazy.
He better have got an injury. If it's not injury related, then right.
I think he got a serious injury.
Okay, fair enough.
And then it just kept on repeating again and again and again.
Yeah, but that's for me. That's what's scary, isn't it? Is that Nuri Sahin? Like, if he's the best in terms of what you've produced technically, we know. Just don't go down that route. Then just don't go down that route.
I mean, İlkay Gundogan is also a shout, but for me, Gundogan at Dortmund is better than whatever Gundogan I saw at Man City. But that's because he was a lot more mobile.
I think, but I think he's a better player now.
I was just about to say he's more well-rounded now.
I think I'm looking at the likes of anytime any midfielder plays in Dortmund, they're all mobile, they're all action. It looks great. Like we had Dahoud, all those players. I think Pep's made him a better player. I'm looking and it's like the way he controls games. is so much better. It's so the way you can
But
play.
I
Might
tell
have
you
played up
what,
front for a bit, like, and he looked
Yeah.
better than some of the number 9s I've seen play here at Liverpool. Boy. Like,
but
he
I
looked
tell you
decent.
what, technically, even though he was the most technical player, guess who played next to him? It's either Bender or Kale.
Bender, yeah.
Why are we doing the same thing?
Ask your
Like,
manager,
what-
man.
like,
Ask your manager.
seriously.
Man.
I
Ask
know,
your
I
manager.
know, but but that's the thing. If we get these technical players, the problem with a system like Klopp, or even for a lot of German managers, is you have to have specific players next to him. That's why I say Tonali, he's the most rounded and he can create from deep. That's why I want him desperately.
What position would you say Musiala is?
10
10.
to natural 10, like the
For Liverpool,
natural 10.
for Liverpool, he plays on the left wing only. Only.
Yeah.
One of my
Tonali-
favorite players in world football, man. I would love to see that guy here. But I just feel like if he came here, we'd ruin him completely. Like he would just.
Oh yeah, 100.
We wouldn't say that. We wouldn't see the same type of player. We just wouldn't.
Not unless
But
we
yeah,
get
nah.
Hansi Flick though.
Hansi Flick, man. But look,
You know what,
I
Ram?
have to get that
You know what's
in.
so mad, Ram? You know what's so mad these days now when it comes to the whole Klopp thing, where I just want the brother out of here anyway. I'm just willing to see change. So if we get Hansi Flick, I'm definitely here for it. Like I'm not even arguing with anyone about who comes
I
in.
just
Anyway.
want to.
Just
I
don't
want
wanna
to
see this.
I want to see Flick with money, bro, because he begged money at Bayern. I want to see what he wants, what he would do with money. Like, you know what I mean? Arab money. I tell you what, Kvara would have been amazing for us. Kvara would have been amazing.
Maradona would have been good.
Exactly.
But at Scalia, he would have 100% done well.
He's exactly the player that we needed.
M Tom is saying, big up lads, what a way to kickstart my morning. Listen to real talk. Didn't catch the game, but hope all is well. Big up to yourself. He then goes on to say, by the way, Keisuke Honda is currently Cambodia general manager until the end of this year. Speaking of Sahin, wow, that's mad. That's mad. JS obviously saying would be interested in you guys doing a buy, sell, keep for each squad player in NFC. You know what? You could probably do that this week, maybe before the game or something.
We can do it tomorrow. We can do it anytime.
Yeah, that's it, man. It's done, innit? Tomorrow.
We'll do it tomorrow. Yeah.
Bada boom,
Jerry,
bada bing.
I need an invite, bro. I need an invite,
Cool.
bro. I want
bro.
that.
That is going to be very interesting.
Like I said, Ram, sign on a dotted line and you can have that easy access, bro. So I want to hear you say that Klopp out. Sign on that dotted line. Say that this is you said it. Pledge your allegiance.
If things happen on the, when does the season finish? When it comes to May, and certain things have happened, I'll play a song and then you'll know that I'm on
Dead
that.
and gone, Justin Timberlake, innit? Dead and
No,
gone.
not even dead and gone, bro. This is like, because I listened to it last night. It is the perfect song if Klopp doesn't do what I want.
The reason why I said dead and gone is because I know Ram's a big JT fan. That's why.
Right.
That's what was running in my head.
Hey, but JT's my guy, though. I thought so.
Dead and gone. Oh.
I tell you what, though, T.I. is a very, very underrated rapper. I rate him.
T.I. is one of my favorites.
No, but I don't think people rate him that much, man.
I definitely wouldn't.
No. Hold on.
Depends on where you're putting, man. You know what? That's a whole different conversation. Anyway.
You know what? Here's a whole different conversation. But do you know what I'm going to do from now on? Every single, for the rest of the week, yeah, every single one of the promos that we do on Insta, yeah, it's going to have a T.I. It's going to have a T.I. tune on the back. And I'm going to get G thinking, you know what?
Bro, let's put it this way. All the years, sorry guys, by the way, in the chat, but all the years, that I've heard T.I., I don't know where you're putting him in terms of, you said like he's up there. It depends on where you're putting, man.
Trap music,
bro. I'll show you real trap music. I ain't trying to hear T.I. as the trap music.
Bro. We talk. Hold on. Trap.
Oh shit!
I just started. That's like saying, yeah. I'm into grime, but Wiley's washed. Wiley is not even.
No, but you wouldn't say that though. You wouldn't say Wiley is washed though, because Wiley's got mad level of hits where I wouldn't even conceive of saying that. T.I. is not that type of product.
No, but he is. But that's my point. Is that started that alongside with Wayne and that. Like, what we talking?
Listen, just because you start something doesn't mean you're good at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because you start something. But like I said, that's another conversation. We'll get into that a debate like this one day. Don't worry. I got smoke for that stuff. But now, in regards to overall, out of 10, both of you, for tonight's game, what are you giving it, performance-wise, or just overall? Yeah, Jerry, Rob, Ram,
6, 5 or 6. Let's be honest, right? Let's not beat around the bush. It wasn't. It was so bad. It was so.
Bro, I started falling
bad.
asleep. Can't lie, I falling asleep.
I was as well.
I was nodding.
When I say the only players that deserve a lot of credit is the youngsters.
Yeah,
I mean it. The guy stepped up. You expected people like Gakpo, your Thiagos, even to an extent Tsimikas to step up. But it was Harvey. It was Bajcetic. I can't give more than a 6. Minimum.
Yeah, 6. I'd go 6 just because that goal from Elliot, man. Like at least he's got some balls to just say, you know what, I'm popping a shot.
What was the keeper doing?
That is true.
No,
what was the keeper doing?
You know what it is? You know what it is? Do you know what it is? He's looking at. He stepped out thinking that pass is going to be played into Keita. Because, you know, he's anticipating it. And then, you know, it got delayed. And it was like this. It was like Keita stopped. When offside stopped, the keeper's trying to get back. As he's trying to get back, Elliot's hit that shot in it. So it was good vision from him. He just caught him off his line in it. So, like, yeah, you could criticize the keeper, but it's like, Elliot, to be fair, he didn't play the pass quick enough. Like, if we're being really honest, like, Elliot should have got that ball, and that should have been one touch, bang, slide rule pass in between the fullback and the centre back. Keita makes the run on the outside of them, gets the ball, and he's through one goal. But yeah, man.
No, it was a good finish. I'm not taking it like away from the thing. I was just baffled, like, because it was just because I saw by the end of that shot, I saw the goalkeeper. I was like, bro, what are you doing there? Like, why are you all like, you just look like you did not see that at all, boy.
It would have been a better strike if there was proper venom on that shot.
Yeah, it's one of them ones. It looked a bit like a floater. Another one that didn't really have the power in his legs, in it, like to lick it. But
but he's got that. He's lucky, obviously, he's got that Southwest London, that diet over there that their man were having at Fulham and that. So he's got a bit more than these men.
A bit more, yeah.
Like Bajcetic ain't taking that shot from over there, 100%. He can't shoot from there.
Yeah. Scrap saying, I rate Ait Nouri to be. By the way, Ait Nouri is a bit. Yeah, I would.
We could go through the buy, sell, loan. I've got some players in mind that you guys might like as well.
Yeah.
Cool. No, tomorrow we do it. We do that. Fuck it.
Cool.
There's a question there from Klopp that was gonna be like my last question to ask you guys. What are we saying about Naby? What do we do with this?
Bye. Lock it off. Lock it off. He's gone. I
think he's one of them ones that, and I'm gonna agree. Yeah, I think we just have to get rid of that. But for the rest of the season, I'm just like, bro, if he's fit, just use the brother. Just use him.
Yeah, just use him. But it's like, you know, you get like a flannel, brother. You know the flannel's going to be, you could throw it in the bin, or you could wipe the floor with it. You could rinse it out and just wipe the floor with it right now. That's what we need
them ones, yeah, man.
You know you're going to bin it afterwards. You know, it was the kitchen one first, but it's got a bit like manky. And you're like, I can use it for the floor though, innit? So I'm going to hot it up, put that floor cleaner on it, get on my knees and just clean, and we'll do a job, innit?
Jerry, bro, get a new towel, bro. We're gone, man.
No, I will, but you got to make use of what you're going to do. If you ain't got the peas, you ain't got the peas to splash. What are you going to do? I mean,
it's one of them was.
That is fucking so, man. Yo, that is actually so dope, bro.
It's so jokes because it's actually kind of true, you know. It's kind of true.
What you're saying is facts. I do the same thing, bro.
Yeah, proper secondhand clothing. I need some cloth, bro. Just wipe off the floor. You know what I mean?
Take us out, man. G, and then
guys. We're now at the end. We're now at the end, man. Liverpool obviously beat Wolves, FA Cup third round replay. Better performance. I think we saw a few signs tonight that there was encouraging signs. Let's hope we see a bit more of that. Obviously at the weekend against Chelsea. It's going to be interesting to see how that one goes. Bajcetic, probably man of the match for most people. Harvey Elliot, great performance tonight. Showed that, you know, why he needs to be playing, you know, right wing. So yeah, we'll wait and see. Myself, Jerry, Rams. Before we even head out, guys, if I don't see the lights moving up, like I didn't even check the lights for the previous video, so I'm gonna blind everyone. I haven't even checked it. I don't know what we hit in terms of the numbers and stuff like that, but please make sure you smash that like button. And guys, we're out, man. We are out.